Hello, everyone. Welcome to Smart City Summit episode 4. This is episode 4. Welcome, everyone. My name is Joshua Oshowo. Um, the, I'm a director at Smart City Mall Africa, and I'm your host on this amazing summit, Smart City Summit, where we share amazing testimonials, amazing knowledge on the different sectors that rule the field of smart cities and help smart cities be established around the world. Now, in this session, we'll be sharing about smart schools. Now we know that knowledge is a very principal thing, just like we say wisdom is a principal thing, and in all you're getting, get understanding. So it's very important that if you want to know about building a smart city, you want to know about building a smart estate, you want to know about building a smart region, you want to know about building smart homes, building smart schools, or building intelligent buildings, this is the place to be. We are sharing regularly in different channels from YouTube to LinkedIn, wherever you are listening from. Tell your friends to join you right now. Click the link, Smart City Mall Africa on YouTube. You can also follow my name. That's Joshua Oshowo on LinkedIn or YouTube to watch live. Wherever you are listening from right now, I want you to do something very important. Share the link to your friends. And number two, go to the comment section and write where you are listening from. Something like write Dr. Joshua, listening from California, or Dr. Joshua, California. So let's do this. I want everyone, wherever you're listening from, write in the comment section. I am listening. My name is Dr. Joshua. I'm listening from California. I'm listening from Johannesburg. I'm listening from different countries, wherever you are. Want to connect with you, want to welcome you specially, and want to ensure that you get the perfect experience in this summit. So today we are having the esteemed Mr. Believe Iboyi. He is a master and a coach in the field of education. He's the founder of EdupreneurNG, and I'll be inviting him shortly to come on the stage. So wherever you are, welcome. Get your notepad, get ready to listen. Welcome, Mr. Lekon Jolayemi. Welcome, Dr. Lekon Jolayemi from Sweden. It's good to have you in this session. Please invite your friends to listen. There are different amazing platforms to be sharing on this platform for everyone to leverage. We cannot run education the same way and experience it and expect a different result. So we have Mr. Believe Iboyi coming to share from Nigeria on this summit. He's the founder of EdupreneurNG. He's also an entrepreneur. He's a coach. Is worth listening to. So wherever you are right now, I want you to write your name and say you are welcome, you are welcome, you are welcome. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome. Now I'll add Mr. Believe Iboyi in about a minute, but before that, I would like to play his video. So everyone, get set, invite your friends, get your notepad, ensure your internet is working very well, and you will enjoy this session. Thank you, everyone. My name is Joshua Oshowo, the founder of Smart City Mall Africa, where we ensure that everyone can find smart devices, power generation devices, security devices, and installation services, along with delivery, all at a click. It's the first and the premium marketplace for anything smart, solar, security devices, installation services, all together. You can buy all at a click on one platform. That is the platform powering this summit. So enjoy. Welcome everyone. So in 1 minute, watch this amazing video.
Mr. Believe Iboyi is an enterprise strategies and training management expert. He is the Chief Enterprise Officer, CEO, EdupreneurNG Mastermind, a consulting organization that focuses on the buying and selling of businesses, operations, strategy, development for MSME, as well as training management and outsourcing. Mr. Believe, the corporate rebel as is formerly called, has helped over 350 MSME micro, small, and medium-scale enterprise, hands-on across various industries, education, real estate, fintech, fashion, food, maritime, social enterprise, agribusinesses, the informal sector, to design their business model, management structure, systems, market penetration, and business operations strategy, training management in order to position this organization for profit and recognition. He is the founder of Agrovocacy, an agriculture advocacy organization. He is also the convener of Business Mastermind Acceleration Program, a quarterly business strategy for consulting program for emerging entrepreneurs. He is the convener of the Consultant Mastermind Network, a program that mentors startup consultants and connects them to established consultants. He believes that everything rise and fall on strategy and leadership. Stand and make welcome Mr. Billy Iboyi.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back. I believe you enjoyed and you now know more about the amazing speaker coming today. Again, my name is Joshua Oshowo, and in this session, we will be giving you so much value. So don't miss out on this session. Welcome, Mr. Believe Iboyi, everyone, wherever you are. Welcome, 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 welcome. So right now it's coming on the screen in 1 second. So wherever you are, tell him you are welcome. You are welcome, sir. You are welcome, sir. You are welcome, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It's good to have you here. It's good to have you here. All right, sir. So tell us a bit about your journey in the field of education and why we should embrace the field or the concept of smart schools. I know about smart schools. I have developed smart systems, smart schools for Africa, for different companies, organizations around Africa. But I would be the person on the reserve seat right now while you play the game. So, so this is gonna be an amazing one. So where you are, please ensure you take your notes because there might be a replay, there might not be a replay, but once you listen to it, you understand the concept, you can ask the right questions. Please feel free wherever you are. You can see the social media handles on the screen. So feel free to send us some messages and request answers. And at the end of this session, Mr. Believe Iboyi will be sharing details on how you can reach out to him. So don't miss that opportunity because not everyone shares details like that at the end of session. So ensure you join this session, maximize, learn as soon as possible, and invite your friends. Please don't be selfish. Invite your friends, and you will get so much of value. Thank you, Sir Iboyi, for honoring this invite. We know we will get value. So thank you. Now over to you, sir.
Excuse me. Yes, good evening, everyone. My journey into, I wouldn't really say I'm a smart school person, but because of the fact that we work with a lot of schools, as one of the niches we've created for ourselves, we've seen that as a way to really grow a school, the schools really need to imbibe the smart school concept. So that is what actually exposed me to what I know about smart school. So for instance, if you're trying to develop a business model for 21st century school, you can't build a model of that nature using traditional thinking, using the old way of doing things. Like they say, today's education is taught by, is it 18th century education taught by 19th century people? That kind of very funny model. So what we're trying to do is to have 21st century models use the 21st century classrooms. So you're not trying to use 18th century or 19th century or 20th century models, but something as practicable as possible to teach these young people. So that's how my journey into smart school system started. So then over some time ago, we started doing, I collaborated with a friend, a female friend, who does a tech savvy teacher. So then we started training teachers how to become tech savvy. Now it was so at the initial stage, I was really pissed because it was so terrible that a lot of our teachers could never use things as simple as PowerPoint. Yes, so you're trying to teach somebody how to be a Microsoft certified teacher and all these kind of things, and then the person doesn't even understand to reuse PowerPoint. So I'm like, okay, how do you even create you now have companies that are coming to introduce interactive whiteboards and all those digital classroom tools, and then the teachers who are using these things to do not even understand PowerPoint. Some of them not even an Android phone. So it's always a very big challenge when you are dropped in that kind of space and you are now left to create a system that can work. It's always very, very, very hard to clean. But oftentimes we've always told these people that yes, so this is what we advise schools. It's not a journey you start today and you hit the milestone today. Make it an intentional journey. Start from where you are, what you have, and then begin to build gradually. Now, it's surprising to even tell you that UBEC, the Universal Basic Education, just said that they are starting smart school in Nigeria in 2023. So that means Nigeria as a country has never started smart school systems as it is. So, but we know that a lot of efforts are being made. So, but generally, technology-based teaching learning processes is the in thing, and everybody must adapt to it. So, but for me personally, I'm not very happy with the approach that most of the edtech companies have taken. Now, I think their focus is only about the money. You cannot blame them. But they are raising money, they are raising funds and do all these things because they see how they can really make money from the ecosystem. But they forget that, so what we have now, we now have two different parallels, or let me call it parallel, because they're not really matching. Because ideally, smart schools should be majorly about student management systems. But what we have everywhere right now is school management systems. So the difference is very clear. Now, for student management system, we're talking about curriculum, the pedagogy, the assessment, teaching learning materials, and all those things. That is what makes the smart school. But for a school management system, we're talking about admission, finance, that is where the money is. So you now have people who have left what makes the school to be smart, and now focus on how they can now create innovative solutions through which they can now make money. Well, the two are a little bit parallel, but if we have done well in the system to create school management system solutions that are functional, that are viable, you can as well also begin to see how we can now create curriculum that are digitalized, pedagogical processes that are digitalized, what's the other one now? Assessment process that are digitalized. And it beats my imagination. UTM, I did the JAM, like I say, that board, the Joint Admission Board, as it is organizing a digital exam. And a lot of the Nigerian schools, I don't know for other African countries, but I know of Nigeria extensively, are not running digital exams in their various schools. So that is even the reason they have to introduce things like the mock exam, so that you can now have an idea of how to do the exam. Because if every school, or let's say if most schools were using a CBT platform to run their exams and all those things, you will have known that there was no need for a job to now spend extra money doing mock exams. So it just tells you that there is a long way for us to go. But we have started it, we are going there, because 10 years ago, if anybody has told us that UTME or JAM, as it is now, was going to be GOB CBT, they will have argued it. And I've told a lot of people of this, and they're like, oh, it's true, though. So some time ago, I was doing a training in a school, it was a village. I got the person online and then invited me, my organization. Then when we were driving, I was like, where are we going? It was a very, as it was one of those, I started telling my guy, please, switch on the location, the Google map location, and share with people. Like, I don't know where you're carrying me to. So now we got to the school. The school was actually big. I thought, wow, how would a school like this kind of establish in this kind of a remote village? And then fine, okay. So that training, I was talking about how to use technology in the classroom and all these things. And then at the end of the day, out of frustration, one of the school teachers asked me, like, but sir, our school is in a removed. I then asked the students that you are breeding in quote, are they going to live in this village alone, or are they going to compete during WAEC, during the JAM exam and all those things? Are they going to compete with the students that are in the high-brand schools? Well, it was obvious. The students are going to write the same exams nationwide. So whether your school is in a village, whether your school is in a one remote place, it doesn't matter. The truth is that these kids need to be exposed to the smart school systems, what we call the digital classroom systems. So we now have, we've seen a lot of organizations bringing in interactive whiteboards to sell, these multimedia boards. They are insanely expensive, 1.5 million, 2-point-something million. Now, for a school that is even struggling to survive. So that's why I said a parallel between school management development softwares and the smart school system that can actually work. Yeah, these things cost money to develop, but we should now look at it. How do we merge them together so that they become usable? Because it makes no sense for these high-tech digital tools to be created and they are not used by those that actually need to use them. So the digital classroom space, the tech-savvy people, these are all the tools that come together to ensure that you have a smart school. And these things don't work in isolation. Okay, so we're looking at how do we use the wide range of multimedia tools, videos, photos, slides, and everything in a regular classroom. Now, these things are in many schools, they are so distant. I can tell you with all confidence that there are still schools in Nigeria that are still using Blackboard. So now look at where we are going. We are talking about interactive whiteboards. There's somebody telling me Blackboard, not even marker board, Blackboard using chalk. So you can see that's a long way to go. We still have a long way to go. But this is to say that the journey has started, or it has begun a couple of years ago, and gradually I begin to see that people are evolving. That is why these kind of sessions are important, to keep educating people, to keep creating that awareness out there, so that those people who have chosen to become stakeholders in the education space to build schools will understand that it's not about, you cannot build a brick and mortar classroom again. You need to now digitalize your classroom. You need to make your classroom more and more tech savvy. And then ultimately, you need to train people that need to use those tools, because the truth is that the tools are there. So the major challenge is the usage. How do you integrate technology in the classroom? And that the training will be doing over and over from one place, from one school to another. How do you integrate technology in your classroom? Yeah, so some schools will tell you don't have the money for this, but there are basic things you can use, you can start with. If you have a TV, and a laptop, start with it. You have a TV, start with it. But it boils down to just knowing that you want to start a program that want to use to empower and build capacity for your people. Most times people look at it from the cost perspective, but I've seen that you can start this thing with very small money and begin to build on it. So with from one classroom, start from a single classroom, build it up to another classroom. You have a plan for it. So the advocacy we will do is to tell schools that, okay, see, this is expensive. We will not say it's not expensive, but you can start with one per term, gradually build up on it. From one gadget to another gadget to another gadget, before you know, and I will not see banks are naturally coming up as, okay, buy 10 laptops, we'll give you the loan and pay us back. And these things are, so the thing is that it's out there. If we are willing, we will use them. So
yeah,
over time, the major challenge we've seen is this: the internet, the cost of using some of these tech tools. The internet is is crazy. Even the organizations, as I'm sure Mr. Joshua would know, that for you to be able to run an organization of smart city, the data bundle must be a bundle. It has to be very, 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 very strong. So these are the reasons why a lot of these smaller organizations, in terms of schools, are running away from the smart space because of the cost of data. These things can only be regulated, can only be done via regulation, because if regulation is not involved, there's nothing a private individual can do. The only thing you can do is to spend money. Then two, I think we also have issue of a power supply. Now, I've been to schools and a lot of schools, I don't want to quote, there's no research data to this, but I can say for sure that more than 80% of schools don't have lights, they don't have power supply. I've been to schools where the entire school has no power supply, because the truth is that they don't really need it. If you want to look at it from a traditional setting, you come to school during the day, from morning to that 3-4 when the schools are closing, there's sunlight. And then they are using only, the best of them are using whiteboard. The windows are open, free ventilation. So there's no need for them to even do ACs and all those things again. So the only place you probably see light is that maybe the admin block, maybe the owner's office and all that. So that means when there's no power supply, there's no problem. If there's power supply, they use. So, but you cannot run a smart school without power supply. And these are all governmental or institutional issues that a single individual cannot really take up on. So if you want to do, like in Africa, most of us are our government. It's okay. If you want to be the government of your school, you have to now go into either getting a power supply, getting your own generator and run it on high diesel of fuel cost, or you want to do alternative energy and go into solar panels or any of those other power sources. But these things are expensive, and it makes an entrepreneur who wants to do these things to want to run away. Then three things, the third one will probably be the cost of gadgets. Now, there was a guy I was speaking with a couple of, I think it was about a month or thereabout ago. They want to introduce a multimedia device into the country. I think already in Nigeria, they're supposed to reach out to more schools. So they were asking if I have access to some of these schools so they can use my platform to reach them. I'm like, okay, we do. But the schools I'm trying to target, I'm not targeting the high brand schools, because I know that those schools, they have the resources, they have the people, they have the personnel. But there's a class of people that are a little bit not financially okay, that needs these tools, and they cannot afford it. So the cost of gadget is another major challenge that also needs to be looked into. And then the fourth one, which is for me the most important of them all, is the tech savvy teachers. Lack of tech savvy teachers. Now, I'm being careful to use that word, tech savvy. If our teachers are tech savvy, they can always improvise. Okay, so a teacher can get a laptop. A teacher can get a laptop and use the laptop as a teaching tool, especially in the private sector. Now, I'm using the word private sector because the private sector population is manageable. You can't try that in a government school with a single laptop to teach 150 students in a classroom. You dare not do that. But at the private level, you're having 20, 25, at most maybe 15. That is probably one of the highest you can see in a private classroom. It's very rare, except the government, the semi-government, which are like the unity schools. But a regular private school, the numbers are very, very manageable. So, but when a teacher is tech savvy, get a laptop, you can use a laptop. Those schools that cannot afford a TV cannot get a single phone call. You want a HDMI cord and connect it to that TV. So that means we can actually, so these are the things we're not encouraging them on, so that they will not look at that massive cost of running the smart schools. So if students have access to multimedia learning, and if they have access to how to see things from a different perspective, videos and everything in classrooms, learning will be interesting. People like now we've seen that there are different learning abilities that learn disabilities. In those days, we were like the bookworms of those days. You have to read and read and read and read. But we've seen that most of us that were just struggling to read then, they will have just watched the video and they will have still gotten the same message that many people struggled and read and read and read. I have a lot of people right now, they'll just pick their phone and they will go, oh, I can read this thing, and then they get it. They want to slide files and read one thing, and then it's easy for them. But it's not everybody that like the smell of the book. Like they say, some people prefer the smell of the book, but it's not everybody that like the smell of the book. So we need to look at different human beings with different learning abilities, different learning disabilities.
Very true.
Okay, so we need to focus on people and see. We need to focus on people and see how we can now help them to learn better. Because if you look at the different teaching methods now, like I said earlier, when I said it comes about curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and teaching learning materials, even teaching methods. There are different types of teaching methods, not the traditional ones. We're not talking about phenomenon-based learning and many other types of teaching methods that we now have today. Now, each of these teaching methods can only be specifically applied to an individual. Like they say, no child left behind, no size fits all. Now, these are core classroom management strategies. So if you are saying no child left behind and no size fits all, no traditional teacher can do no size fits all with anybody, with all students. It's not possible. That kind of approach, that kind of teaching method can only be done through a digitalized process, where your your smart classroom is able to know or identify intuitively what that child needs, what the child is lacking. Then the program is able to tailor the classroom learning to the child's need. But so if you're telling me as a class teacher to mentally or create, I don't know how I'm going to do it as a class teacher, because even as a teacher in those days before we went into consulting, we saw that it was really very, very difficult trying to do these things. So what we are saying is this: we can have a classroom that is smart. So we call it a smart classroom. But there are a lot of factors that makes it smart. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, it is your responsibility to ensure that the tools that make that school, that your classroom to be smart, it is your responsibility to bring them on board. Yes, I know it's expensive, but it is your job to ensure that you get these things sorted and make sure that you can have them available for your school. So, those are it. So, but what we have today is more of school management systems that's taking care of admission, that take care of school finance, that takes care of attendance, and then monitoring and other things of the classroom. From I think there's one I saw recently that talks about how you can actually get a student to parents. So maybe you, as a child, get into the bus or go, that kind of a tracking system. Now, these things are good, but let's see how we can integrate these things into the classroom so that the child can learn better, child can learn faster, and the learning can become all inclusive. So, Mr. Joshua, if I think those doesn't look too lecture-like, let's interact with people on the platform and see how we can discuss better.
All right. Let me look at whether we have comments. So, everyone, wherever you are, just give us your comments. Let's have your comments about. Let's have your comments. Let me. Right. All right. So wherever you are listening from, kindly let us have your comments. What questions do you have? And you can go, okay, all right, okay. So Mr. Lakon is asking a question. Dr. Lakon is asking a question. He's asking a question saying, what is the current position of government to smart schooling? Though I'm wondering the line of question because the line of question, current position of government, or you mean the current, do you mean the place of government in smart schooling? I would like Dr. Dekon, please kindly expatiate a bit. Do you mean the place of government? Because right now you're talking to all around
Current
Africa, not around.
the current position of government. Now, I think, yeah, a lot of, I think from what I understand with that question, the thing is that it is some countries' government have more interest in smart education than others. Now, what Kayami has, was Kigami, the man from Rwanda.
Rwanda, yes.
Yes, what he has done is extraordinary. I've watched a couple of videos. I'm actually hungry to go to Rwanda right now because I actually want to experience that thing myself. Yeah, really. I'm actually trying to see I can get this Kigali program, and so I can spend like 2-3 weeks in Rwanda and see. I want to experience it because if every successive government or of every country in Africa can actually take it upon themselves, this is not rocket science, sincerely speaking. It's not rocket science. This is actually doable. And if we remove the corrupt nature of African governments and they want to be intentional about having a digital classroom, it is possible. Guys in the UK, now if there is a tuning that a lot of schools in the UK platform use, it's so amazing that basically everything you need as a student is in one single dashboard. From your lectures, notes, to everything is right there. You can learn at your pace and everything. So these things are there. So for government, we've seen a lot of government are not really ready. And I saw in the news a couple of days ago that where UBEC, right, that's in Nigeria, and I said that they will start smart school in 2023. So you can imagine how ready they are. Yes, we will begin to see some schools are taking some new turns, but it's the readiness of government across Africa is very, very low. The position right now is they are not decisive about it. I think that's always been an African problem, not wanting to give education to the people so that the people will not rise up and challenge their incompetencies.
I get that. So okay, thanks for answering that question. So the current position of government to smart schooling is basically relative on the exposure of the government and the willingness to get engaged with that line of development in the educational system. So I would please sir, can you help us? I would like you to write in the comments that's for Mr. Belief. You mentioned about a particular student educational system that's running in the UK. Can you hear me?
I didn't get a question.
I said you mentioned about a student educational system that is running in the UK.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you put it in the comment section or on a private chat so I can put it up for people to see and exploit themselves?
No. For those that are in the UK that are looking, okay, go on, please.
All right. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I just wanted to finish your talk before I continue.
All right. I also like to just summarize a few things which I learned from this session, and I would like everyone listening, whether you're listening live or recorded, to also learn. Now, in the midst of many words, there is a lot of wisdom, and I've seen one thing here that as a business entrepreneurs or as entrepreneurs, a good number of people want to create school management systems that can solve the business part of the schools. That means the business of schooling or the school business. Because maybe not only that the financial area, but that is where the school has a good amount of stress. They have done that over and over and over again, and they want to automate some things. Then the area of managing the students, giving the students a smart schooling experience, helping them become much more developed, having dashboards for their tests, having dashboards for their relation, their interrelation system, their social systems, and things like that. Collecting the data and ensuring that it's unified with the school management system, and have an holistic system that students can grow in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and have a very, very amazing output at the end of their tenure in those schools. So we need to develop that kind of systems. We need to also, one thing I've learned is, as you said in one of your statements, that in Africa, a good number of entrepreneurs, we are our own government. It might look funny, but it's not a joke. It's really something that is a painful joke for many schools, where they supply their water, they supply their electricity. Okay, so I'll put that on the. I'll put this on the. Let me just put it on the. I want to put this on the screen. Give me a second. Yeah, exactly. So Dr. Jolayemi said in Sweden, in some of the smart school tools used include vClass and Informentor based on the region. So amazing. So I will note that down. Now there are different other school management systems and things like that. I know about Edverse, I know about Schooling, I know about Google Classroom, and a good number of others. Premium and free.
There are so many of them. There are
exactly.
so many.
Exactly. But one thing I would like to also encourage people that want to build smart cities. Now, the idea of this is that when a city is planned, all these other amenities that schools build, like a republic of their own, will be much more, will be cheaper.
Definitely.
So
I agree.
When internet is already wired inside the background of the city, they can tap into it and pay as they use, because these schools don't really use as much internet, but your computer labs has to be at least have internet. So you don't need to have so many laptops, so many screens. Just ensure that in the school's lab, there is a screen. In the school's lab, they have a few laptops for each of the sessions that your students will have in the school. Ensure that internet it used to look expensive before, but you can meter the amount of internet that you use per class. And for example, I know for in Nigeria currently, you can have unlimited internet for as low as, now I was speaking in dollars, for as low as is it about $15 to $20 per month.
Please, I want to know which company does that too.
I will share that personally with you.
I want to know.
So in Naira, after you have bought the normal, you have bought the gadgets and installed the gadgets already. Exactly. It's about 13,000 Naira for renewal every month. And you have unlimited internet. So the people that give this kind of internet.
It's not capped at all.
You said what?
It's not capped. The one I'm using right now, they will tell you it is unlimited, but at the end of the day, they peg it at 80 or 90 gigs.
No, this is not capped. This is not capped.
Let us know.
This is not capped. So there are this kind of systems that basically run, and it's still called shared internet. So, but maybe the speed can be of different wavelengths and things like that. But the fact is that students don't use as much internet as things like that. I remember when I was in university, I was doing a private university, and they were giving tokens of internet bundles for different kind of students. Yeah. So we have to encourage this. Even though you are a school, now I'm trying to put a school owners watching this video. You might have a school, you might need to collaborate. I remember when I was in secondary school, you have inter-house sports. You might need to collaborate. Have a school lab inside the local government that your students can go have tons of programs, learn there, have inter-school competitions, and learn together. If you are someone that has a computer institute, you can partner with schools and offer those services. Let them come and leverage their stuff. We are meant to develop ourselves, because when the average student inside a particular region is educated to a particular level, they will function better. They will give you lesser stress, and you will have better results. So we cannot afford to act on our own level of knowledge anymore alone. We can't afford to be running personal systems. That's why we're having a summit right now. So I'm sharing my audience, my stage, my platform with Mr. Billy Iboyi's platform. And everybody's going to know about Mr. Billy Iboyi after this session from the network of Smart City. I know people that want to open smart schools in Nigeria, and I'm wondering who thinks along the line of smart schools. Some people want to open smart universities, smart classrooms, but they are wondering who can be our consultant in that area. So it's not about me and my own. It's not about my school and my school alone. One reality that I've come to know is that when you leave a child on the street and you run away and develop on that child that you left on the street without helping that child or making the average level of knowledge to become excellent would be the one to be a threat to the one that you train in the classroom. So it's going home along the road, and it's being threatened by someone who didn't go to school, who feels deprived, and you raise thugs like that. So we cannot afford to do that. So it's better for an entrepreneur. You're not a business person right now in the school of knowledge, in the school of education. Find a way to offer solutions that can solve every other school's problem and raise a new generation of leaders who understand smart schooling tools and who can become the best of who they are without needing to attend your school, or without needing to have your business or pay you as a business. Someone once said something recently. He said grants don't raise nations. He said it's businesses that raise nations. So I have seen a lot of people doing NGOs, and they basically work based on the grants of the person that gave them money. So, and I tell people all over Nigeria, all over Africa that I can meet, it is high time you start building systems that solve your problems of education, solve your problems in your nation, and then use if for example it's a social entrepreneurship business and it's not making you enough money, you might need to open another business that can provide funds for the educational system that you are doing. So in that way, you can provide more help to people and not depend on that social journey you are working on to be the sole supply of funds. Because when it's the sole supply of funds, they are thinking only in line of money. So I just want to share this right now and encourage a lot of access that God wants to give you as a person and supply you with that funds if you have a heart big enough to help the people around your nation to receive help and rise above the normal limitation. So I believe I've shared something. So over to you before we round up.
Okay, for me, in terms of collaboration, one thing I would say is that a lot of schools are always scared about the cost of technology. Now, because the cost of technology is what, like, the terms of the gadgets and all those things that they need to buy. But there are a lot of ways to actually improvise on these things. With, like I said earlier, with a smartphone, a laptop. I think for me, if a school can actually invest in maybe a laptop or desktop, I think they've done 99% of the work for me. Because these things that they have already can probably just be tweaked and networked, and then you get the best result that you seek. Now, we still have some schools that are still putting a computer library, a computer. These things are no more. Why should students go to a library, to a computer room to learn computer 21st century? Computer should be now, because the use of computers, like use of technology, should be an everyday thing. Shouldn't be what I will go to a library or a lab to go and learn. No. So how is this done? Let me tell you something very, very insulting. Most of us went to schools, from primary school to secondary school. I don't talk about university now. We did computer studies or computer education, whatever we did. It was after we left secondary school we had to now pay to all these cyber cafe centers to go and now learn desktop publishing. So all the money we paid for the 6-7 years of our lives learning computer, what was it meant for? So it means that a lot of our schools are not really using technology in the classroom. They're just trying to teach technology. So for us to be able to use tech in the classroom, we need to have students having laptops in the class. Let's encourage parents to buy it. Encourage them to use the tools in the classroom. That is one of the best ways to do this. And oftentimes, it's not plenty money. I've seen schools start this thing with 50,000 naira, and they gradually, I'm speaking in naira because I'm in Nigeria. So with 50,000 naira, gradually they begin to build up. Once there's a conscious intention to grow it, to grow that platform by the school, you'll be amazed what they can achieve within a space of one full academic session. So that is my own key point that I've always been telling a lot of school owners: don't run away because you think it's expensive, because the technology is not as expensive as the when you not implement, when you don't have technology in your space. Lack of technology in your space will cost you more than the current cost of technology that you are thinking about.
Very true. Very true. Very true. So I think that what needs to be written on marble: lack of technology in your space will cost you more than you not having the necessary technology you need in your space. So it's very important, everyone, wherever you are listening, embrace technology in your school, develop the use of technology among your students. Don't only fit technology into your business of your school, but also fit technology into how your students run in your school. Data is important. It helps you now to help you in the future. And those you help in developing themselves beyond their normal. So even if you are a teacher, invest in technology tools to help your classroom, to help your students, to help you, and also help your students in developing themselves for the global opportunities that arise. In summary, I would like to just add this. If you are trying to build a school, or you are trying to build a program of yours, or trying to build an estate or a city, please consider having a school that has smart systems involved. Ensure that as small as possible, before you build your school, ensure there's provision for internet in the background. You can have fiber, you can have wireless, ensure you have provision of internet. Power is very important. There are some pay-as-you-go systems that you can install in your school, from solar to wind, depending on the kind of area that you have. There are solar wind chargers. You can get them at Smart City Mall. But there are different other things you can get depending on your capacity. Please, let's give our children a bright future with technology in their schools. Let's help to make this a normal thing. Let's also have the art of developing education than developing only our pockets. It's very, very important that we have a long-term plan to influence our nations and influence our children. The children you influence now will determine the kind of adults you see in the next 10 to 20 years. So please consider the future plan of the nation. Employ smart technology in your schools. find a way to understand how the technology works, so that it doesn't exploit you while you are also leveraging them. Ensure also you train your students. I know of Dr. Akipelu was on this session about 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, talking about smart schools, also talking about the 7-star teacher. You can get his book checked, or you can just send me a message on LinkedIn, or just write Dr. Akipelu on LinkedIn, send him a message to get his book, or invite him to consult for you, or you can even invite Mr. Billy Iboyi to consult for you. You need this access. The wisdom you get now will save you from multitude of bad experience in the future in your schools. So please, related experts, please, while developing schools, and ensure you have an consultant like Billy Iboyi that you bring to your front to ensure that they help you, they guide you in establishing the right schools, so that you don't end up forcing things that were not planned into the school in the future. So we have come to the end of this session. I want to thank you everyone for coming on this session, wherever you're listening from, Dr. Jolayemi from Sweden, and every other person listening from different channels, LinkedIn, YouTube, live or recorded. I believe you have learned something from this session. I wish you the best. Send your questions, even the session has ended anytime from now. Send your questions, send your comments, share the link, share the video to other people, and watch out for the next session next week. Thank you. Swati Summit, the place where you will learn more about building smart cities anywhere you want around Africa. Thank you. My name is Joshua Oshowo, and I'm so happy to have been with you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Billy Iboyi. Thank you for coming on the session.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, have a great night.
You're welcome. All right, now, everyone have a wonderful day. God bless you.